there is something that I want to ask you for that concern student. So there are students out there that are trying to make decision on their majors, and sometimes they are looking, oh, should I do what I love, or should I do something that I'm gonna make money on it? So what is your take on that when it comes to deciding on something to do as a major, whether it's money or passion?
I think that's a really good question. I also think it's a layered question, right? Because there are some things that you might be really passionate about that, or that is a hobby or something that you really enjoy doing. But when you envision it as a career, it's just not there. Or maybe it is something that you're passionate about, but going through an entrepreneur program as a foundation to that, so you're able to identify how to make your passion into a career, or the organizations that exist for that. I'm passionate about singing. I cannot sing whatsoever. I sound like a coyote in a trash compactor. And so for me to say, like, I should pursue singing, no, never in my life. But is that a passion? Yes, I sing all the time. My sister and I sing to each other on the phone when we're talking instead of just talking, right? So I think it's knowing those boundaries of what, in the end, what is your goal? Do you have a goal at the end of your college career? And if so, what are the classes and majors that you need to explore or take to get that goal? Or is there a passion that you really want to explore a bit? Can you do that simultaneously with a structure that will be able to put you into a career at the end? Or is there opportunities that are existing through an internship that can supplement some of that major decisions that you have? Or is there a volunteering opportunity that you can be engaged in the community to really explore these other areas, to get more information on, to determine what you should pursue as a major? I think there's a lot of thought that can go in before you make that next decision. And I would just say, rely on your mentors and people who've had experiences before you. Connect with your teachers and your professors, because they have valuable insight too. And then also know your boundaries, right? If you can't sing, don't go into singing, right?
Yes.
Somebody's gonna have to tell you that you can't sing, right? That's not gonna make you any money at all. But another thing to consider is that, by the time that you're done with your college career, right? And you're in your career, what does success look like for you? How are you going to define success? Is success a ton of money? Well, then you're probably going to rely upon a major that's going to use your skills to get you into a pathway that might make you a really high earner 5 or 10 years or 15 years down the road. But, if success to you is being a part of a community or enjoying your life, and what is it that you need to be able to provide for yourself, that might be another avenue to consider with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I wanted to say, how did you make that decision when you were in college?
Well, I made the decision to go to pursue academia as a professor, and I did make that decision, and that's went through my doctoral work, went into a professorship at another university, and really took a step back during that pandemic time of, is this what I want to continue doing for the next 10 or 20 years of my life? Is this the location that I want to be in? So I think things may have been different for me if the pandemic didn't occur, or the location was different. I very much love this community and wanted to be back into it, but I also wanted to make sure that the skills that I developed throughout my academic career and my experience and my research skills were being used to make community impact. And so that is a long way to say that, I wasn't receiving the community impact that I was expecting in the position that I held out east, and had the opportunity to make meaningful community impact and change here. And that was my driver, right? Like that's my value. When I did this value identification with Dakota Medical Foundation several months ago with our Young Professionals Network. And my number one value was community. And so that makes sense to see where my career trajectory came back. But I also held a lot of jobs throughout college and before college that helped me make that decision, right? Just those different experiences and taking them all in holistically.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. And the reason why sometimes I'm curious how professionals about their experience is because I want college students again, or early career professionals to learn something from their career. Just because they say they make a decision on this major right now doesn't mean that they're gonna either stick with it or maybe better opportunities are coming. So I want them to understand that there are professionals out there that live what they are living and they are okay. At the end, they are okay. There are many students right now in that same situation. Right. So what advice would you have for them when they don't have it figured out? After 3 years being in college, they don't know what they want to learn. They don't know what degree they should go for. What advice do you have for students like that?
I would have to say the greatest power in figuring out what you want to do, whether it's taking a major or adding a minor to something, or determining a job or a career pathway, is really leaning on those around you and asking questions. So there's this concept of having 100 cups. So 100 cups of coffee, soda, tea, whatever. Finding individuals in the community that are outside of the university itself to have those conversations of what does your career look like? How did you get involved in that? What led you there? And that helps you determine, whether or not that career is interesting to you. Sometimes there's so much power in knowing what you don't want to do, what you don't want to study. It helps you take all the options that are available and start to narrow those choices on down. But really, getting involved with groups, whether it's a community group or a networking opportunity, to just really have those conversations, because